You placed a salt jar for Fengshui, but money still feels stuck. Bills pile up. Opportunities slip. Here's the truth. The salt isn't broken, but your placement is leaking wealth energy, quietly, every single day. You know that little corner in your bathroom? The one you barely look at, but still decided to place a salt jar there? Yeah, same here. I thought it'd help. Clear the space, balance the feng shui, maybe even support my money flow. But for weeks, things still felt off. Bills got weird. I kept misplacing stuff. I'd walk into the bathroom and feel this strange heaviness. Even though it looked clean, turns out it wasn't about the salt. It was where I put it. And once I moved it just a few feet, the shift was almost instant. Before we begin, can I ask you something? When was the last time you checked the energy of your bathroom? Not just how it looks, but how it feels? If something's been a little off lately, money slowing down, decisions feeling stuck, or just this low-key weight in your mornings, it's not random. It might be your feng shui, and it might be fixable. So if this feels like it's speaking to you, don't stop here. This is part of a series I've been creating called Feng Shui Red Flags. Real everyday mistakes that quietly mess with your wealth energy. You can start anywhere, but this one might be the shift your bathroom's been waiting for. You placed it where it fit. A shelf, a flat surface. Somewhere easy, somewhere out of the way. But here's the thing. What's easy for us isn't always safe for energy, especially when that shelf is right next to a drain. The biggest mistake? Putting the salt jar too close to a drain. And I get it. There's only so much space in a bathroom, right? That awkward little ledge behind the toilet, the corner by the sink faucet. It feels convenient, out of the way, just enough room. But here's the problem. Drains in feng shui aren't just plumbing. They're portals of loss. They constantly pull energy downward, just like water. And salt? It's a conductor. It doesn't just sit there quietly. It absorbs. It reacts. It holds on to whatever's in the air, especially when placed in a high-activity zone. So, if you've ever put your jar right next to the toilet, I've done it too. You're basically asking it to soak up everything you're trying to flush away. Emotionally, energetically, financially. And oh no, it doesn't stop there. Once that salt reaches its limit, it starts echoing that heavy energy back into the space. Slowly, quietly, and you won't even notice, until your days start feeling heavier for no reason you can name. This isn't just a visual mistake. It's symbolic. Your wealth energy is trying to stabilize, but it keeps getting pulled down the drain, along with your peace, your clarity, and maybe even that spark you used to have in the mornings. You might start noticing weird little things. Money slips through cracks. Unexpected expenses. A foggy head in the morning. Like your focus just won't land. You clean the bathroom, but it still feels dense. It's subtle, but steady. Like your chi is being drained, and you're not even awake enough to stop it. Okay, so what do you actually do? It's not complicated, but yeah, placement matters. Like, way more than we think. First, you need to move your salt jar at least 2 feet away from any drain, the toilet, the sink, Even that tiny floor vent you forget is there. And if you can, get it off the ground. Oh wow, ye salivate it. Find a dry, stable shelf that's higher than eye level. Even if it's just a narrow ledge above the door, or that little spot behind your medicine cabinet. You want it where it won't be splashed, won't be bumped, and most importantly, won't be drowned in the constant pull of water flow. Think of it like giving the salt some breathing room. Let it witness the space, not just survive in a damp corner. And hey, this isn't about perfection. It's not like you need to install a fancy altar. A simple wooden shelf, even a sturdy hook with a hanging glass jar, that's enough. Just make sure it's somewhere still, somewhere quiet, somewhere that feels like, okay, this part of the room holds energy, not drains it. Honestly, the first time I moved mine, just 3 feet up, I felt silly. Like, really? Is this even gonna do anything? But, oh, it did. The air felt different. Not magical, just calmer, like the room finally exhaled. I used to keep mine behind the faucet, right in that weird corner next to a hand soap I never liked. It made sense. Flat surface, hidden, done. But one morning, I noticed the salt was clumping. The air felt thick. And honestly, I felt stuck. So I moved it. Just a few feet up onto a ledge near the mirror. No clutter. No moisture. Just space. And the next day, I breathed better. Not just physically, but mentally. Since then, mornings feel lighter. Ideas come through easier. And the energy in that space, it actually holds me, instead of pulling me apart. Sometimes, all it takes is moving one small thing out of the wrong current. Let's talk about what happens when beauty tricks you into forgetting intention. It's a gorgeous jar. Matte ceramic, soft gold lid, maybe even hand-painted from that shop downtown. Looks amazing. Feels expensive. But energy? Still stuck. Because here's the truth. A beautiful container without intention is just decor. It doesn't do anything. Let's be honest for a second. We all love beautiful things. That jar you picked? It's probably gorgeous. Soft matte finish, maybe a clean label, fits perfectly on the shelf. Oh, and it totally matches the towels. But here's the thing. It's just sitting there, quietly, almost too quietly. No energy, no purpose, just vibes. And that's the mistake. Ugh, this one got me too. I thought, if it looks peaceful, it must be doing something, right? Wrong. Because in Fengshui, energy doesn't move just because something's pretty. It moves because something's activated. When you place a salt jar, but never assign it meaning, never connect with it, never even think twice about it, you've basically placed a silent, sealed container in the middle of a conversation and told it not to speak. Honestly, that's what most of us do. We treat it like decor, another object to check off the list. But feng shui? It's not about the object. It's about the message behind it. Salt holds memory, but only if you tell it what to hold. Without that, it becomes kind of emotionally blank, like a pretty candle that was never lit. And quietly, gently, your space starts feeling the same. Pretty, but disconnected. Clean, but not clear. You're going through the motions, But your energy, it's not rooting. It's not landing. And wow, when you finally realize that, it's humbling. Because that little jar isn't just decor, it's a reflection of whether you're truly present in your space, or just trying to make it look like you are. And over time, you feel it. The bathroom doesn't hold you. It doesn't ground you. You stand in front of the mirror, but your mind's already racing. Your body's there, but your chi? Scattered. It's like brushing your teeth in a museum. Everything looks curated, but none of it feels alive. Okay, so how do you fix it? Honestly, you don't need crystals. You don't need a full moon. You just need a moment. The salt jar works best when it's connected. So, next time you're in the bathroom, maybe after brushing your teeth, or while waiting for the shower to warm up, pause. Seriously, pause. Just rest your hand gently on the lid. Close your eyes, even for 2 seconds. Then say something. Anything. Softly. Even awkwardly, just say, "You hold clarity," or "This space is protected," or even just, "Let the heaviness go." I know. It feels weird the first time. I felt silly too, standing there half asleep, whispering to a jar. But wow, something shifts. Because the moment you speak with intention, you turn that silent jar into a tool, a partner. The salt starts to hold more than just air. It holds meaning. It starts to listen, not literally, but energetically. And that's where Fengshui begins to breathe. Not in the perfect aesthetic, but in that tiny present second where your energy finally shows up. You don't have to be poetic. You don't even have to get the words right. You just have to be there, really there. And, oh wow, once you do that, the room starts to feel different. Not louder, just more aligned. Like it remembers what it's supposed to hold. I'll be honest. The first time I spoke to my salt jar, I felt so awkward. It was 7 a.m., hair messy, toothpaste on my shirt, and I'm just standing there like, "You hold protection," whispering to glass. Felt ridiculous. But you know what? The next morning, I wanted to see it. It felt like something was meeting me there, quietly, like the space finally had memory. Not just moisture. Now it's a rhythm. Not dramatic. Not mystical. Just grounding. And every time I say that line, I feel a little more here. Like I'm not rushing through the space. Like the room's with me. Intention is invisible. But wow, you can feel when it's missing. Let's talk about what happens when you forget to refresh the thing that's been absorbing everything for you. You placed it months ago and haven't touched it since. It's still there, but something about the room feels heavier. The mistake most people make? They treat salt like decor, not like a filter. And filters? They don't work when they're full. Let's be real for a sec. How often do you actually check the salt in your jar? Like, really check it? Not glance. Not assume. But actually open it up and feel what it's holding? Most people place their salt jar once, and then forget. It just becomes part of the background. And Sam here. I used to think, well, it still looks fine, so it must still be working, right? But no. Here's what no one tells you. Salt is not decoration. It's not a set-it-and-forget-it thing. It's a filter, a living, breathing energy sponge. And what do filters do? They fill up, constantly, quietly, slowly, until one day, without even realizing it, you've got a jar full of stagnant, overused energy, just sitting there, still looking neat on the outside, but inside, heavy, dull, tired. It's like wearing the same t-shirt for 6 months straight and expecting it to feel clean. Honestly, by that point, your salt's not protecting anything anymore. It's just holding all the stuff you should have released weeks ago. And the wild part? You start to feel it, but you don't know why. Mornings drag. You forget where you put things. Money's tight, but you can't explain where it's going. Your mood? Weirdly irritable for no reason. It's not always dramatic, but it builds. And it builds quietly. Because that jar, it's still absorbing. But now, it's full. And what it can't hold anymore. And wow, when that hits you, it's like realizing you've been breathing stale air for weeks. You might not even realize it at first, but mornings feel just a little more off. You drop things, forget things. Bills feel tighter. Your brain? It takes longer to start. And worst of all, you don't even blame the salt jar, because it's still sitting there quiet, still, same, but it's saturated, quietly holding everything you should have let go. A long time ago. Okay, so what now? You've got a salt jar that's been sitting there for who knows how long. It looks fine. Still sealed. Still, technically in place. But if it's been months since you last touched it, it's time to refresh it. Like seriously. Don't wait for a full moon. Don't wait until you have time. Just do it. Here's how I do it. And honestly, it's super simple. But when you do it with presence, it hits different. Start by opening the lid. Let yourself notice how it feels. Is it clumpy? Dull? Has the color changed even slightly? That's your first clue. It's full. Energetically full. Then take a wooden spoon, just avoid metal if you can, and scoop the salt out. Don't rush. Do it mindfully. Like you're actually clearing energy, not just emptying a jar. Put the used salt in a paper bag or wrap it in cloth. And, yes, say it out loud, even if you feel awkward. I always whisper, "Thank you for what you've absorbed." Ugh. The first time I did that, I felt so weird. Like I was talking to seasoning. But wow. The room felt lighter almost instantly. I'm serious, don't toss it in the kitchen trash like it's expired cereal. Flush it far from your living space. The whole point is release. Now refill the jar with fresh, dry salt. Pour it slowly, deliberately. Let it land with a kind of fresh start energy. You can speak something simple over it if you like. This space is protected. Money flows clearly here. I choose clarity, and then just close the lid. That's it. Because honestly, the difference between a salt jar that's working and one that's just sitting there is only one thing: your attention, your follow-through. So yeah, I had this salt jar sitting on a shelf in my bathroom, tucked neatly between a folded towel and a little plant. It looked perfect, and for months, I just ignored it. Didn't check it, didn't move it, didn't even think about it. It just became part of the background. Like, oh yeah, that's my Fengshui jar. Checked that box. But one morning, I don't even know why, and wow, it felt weirdly heavy. Not like it gained weight, but like it was holding something dense. I opened the lid, and the salt was clumpy, softly gray, like it had been working overtime, and no one had told it, "Hey, you can rest now." So I changed it, quietly. Did the whole thing scooped, thanked, reset? That night, I slept through the entire night. For the first time in like 3 weeks. Coincidence? Maybe. But my body knew. It noticed the difference, even before my brain caught up. Ever since then, I check it more often. Not obsessively, just mindfully. And now the room feels lighter. Not brighter, just more alive. Let's talk about what happens when clutter around your salt jar starts whispering louder than the salt itself. You decluttered. You wiped the counters. You even lit a candle. The bathroom looks clean, but every time you walk in, something still feels off. Because in Feng Shui, clean isn't just about what you see. It's about what you sense. And sometimes it's not the salt jar that's blocked. It's what's around it. Here's the mistake that's so easy to miss. You placed your salt jar with love, with intention, maybe even with a little whisper. But then, you surrounded it with chaos. Extra shampoo bottles, that old curling iron with the frayed cord, a pile of half-used skincare. Oh no, maybe even a cleaning spray with a busted nozzle, just sitting there awkwardly behind it. Ugh, been there. And the salt jar? It's trying to do its job, to stabilize the space. But all that clutter? It's louder. In Feng Shui, everything carries frequency. If the energy around your salt jar is messy, expired, or scattered, the jar can't hold clarity. It gets buried, energetically silenced, like placing a tuning fork next to a leaf blower. And little by little, you feel it. Not in big ways, but in small frictions. You drop things more often. You walk in, and your shoulders tenses lightly. Your thoughts feel cluttered. Bills feel tighter. You clean, but never feel done. And deep down, kind of avoid the space. Even if it's tidy, it doesn't feel calm. That's a sign. That's your energy saying, something here is fighting for attention. Here's the fix. Don't just clean around the jar. Curate the space around it. Look at the shelf it sits on. Is it busy? Crowded? Loud? Start simple. Wipe the surface slowly. Remove anything that's expired, broken, or unused. Then step back. Look at the jar again. But this time, give it a little breathing room. Add one soft thing near it. A folded hand towel. A sprig of eucalyptus. Maybe a small candle unlit, but present. Oh wow, the shift that happens when space can breathe again? You'll feel it instantly. Not dramatic, just peaceful. Like the energy finally has room to land. I had mine sitting on a shelf right next to a clutter of products. Stuff I didn't even use anymore. Just there. One day, I knocked it over trying to grab a random body lotion. The lid flew off. Salt everywhere. At first, I was like, seriously? But then, I realized, maybe that mess was a message. So, I cleared the whole shelf. Left just the jar and a clean washcloth beside it. The next morning, the room felt quiet. Like it had exhaled for the first time in months. Now when I walk in, I actually pause, even if just for a breath. The jar holds my focus again. And the room? It holds me. Sometimes energy doesn't need more stuff. It just needs less noise. Let's talk about what happens when you place your salt jar in a spot you never even see. You placed it months ago, right behind the toilet, or in that little shadowed corner under the sink. And now, you never even see it. But in Fengshui, what you don't acknowledge, I can't support you. Visibility isn't about design. It's about energetic relationship. This one sounds so small, but oh wow, it changes everything. You placed your salt jar with good intentions. You even picked the right shelf. But over time, you stopped noticing it, stopped connecting, and now it's become invisible. Ugh, I get it. We get busy. We tune things out. That part of the room gets dark in the evening, or the mirror doesn't reflect it, and honestly, it just fades from your awareness. But in Feng Shui, energy flows toward attention. If you never see the jar, you're not just ignoring it physically, you're unplugging from its energy. It can't anchor you. If it's been shoved in a forgotten spot, buried in shadow, lost behind other objects. And oh no, when that happens, it stops supporting your flow. Not because it's broken, but because you're no longer in relationship with it. And the signs creep in quietly. You find yourself rushing more, forgetting little things, feeling disconnected in your morning routine. Your money flow gets spotty. Bills feel heavier. Unexpected expenses show up and you're like, wait, what just happened? The bathroom feels like a space you use, but not one that supports you. And your jar? It's just sitting there, like a closed book no one reads anymore. So here's the shift. Put it somewhere you can actually see it. Not center stage. Not on display, just within awareness. Somewhere you pass by daily. A shelf across from the mirror. A quiet ledge near the towel rack. Even tucked near your favorite candle if that's a space you actually look at. Let it sit in light, in stillness, in a spot where your eyes naturally land, even for half a second, and if possible, let your reflection catch it. Because oh wow, when your body sees it without trying, it forms a subtle loop. Your nervous system starts to say, this is safe, this is sacred. You don't have to stop and bow. Just notice it. Regularly. Softly. That alone changes the energy. Mine used to sit behind the toilet. No joke. It made sense at first. Out of the way. No risk of bumping it. But after a while, I stopped noticing it. And yeah, the room just felt stale. So I moved it. Just a few feet. Now it sits on a narrow ledge beside my window. I pass it every day. Don't even stop. But sometimes I'll glance at it and quietly think. Still here, still holding. That's enough. Now the bathroom feels more alive. Not perfect, but present. And somehow, mornings feel less rushed. Money feels less tight. It's like something clicked back into place. Because energy flows where your attention rests. Even just for a second. Out of sight, out of sync. Let's bring this home. With 3 simple things you can do today to reset your wealth flow from the bathroom up. 1. Move your jar out of drain zones. No matter how cute the spot is, if it's next to a toilet, sink, or floor vent, it's draining your flow. Shift it at least 2 feet away and let it sit in calm air, not suction. Wealth needs a place to land, not a place to spiral. 2. Refresh your salt with a short ritual. Don't wait till the jar feels gross. Choose a rhythmons a month or with every new season. Scoop out the old salt slowly, thank it quietly, and place the new one with care. Clarity isn't magician's maintenance. 3. Let the jar live where you actually see it. Not hidden, not buried. Somewhere your eyes gently pass. Even half a second of awareness daily can reconnect you to flow. Fengshui only works when your presence does. Sometimes the smallest things, a jar of salt, a quiet corner, a glance you forgot to give, are the things quietly shaping how supported you feel. And maybe your bathroom isn't just a place you pass through. Maybe it's a space that reflects how you've been showing up, or not showing up, for yourself. So before you scroll to the next thing, and take a second, is there one spot in your home that's been quietly leaking energy while you weren't looking? Drop it in the comments, not just for the algorithm, but as a way to say, I see it now. Because that's where transformation begins, in the moment you notice. And if this video helped you notice something, anything, check out the other red flags in this series. We've been untangling the quiet mistakes that keep money stuck and energy off. Your flow doesn't need fixing. It just needs your attention.